What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sports Degenerate podcast. The NBA playoffs start on Saturday. I absolutely love the NBA playoffs. They are my favorite playoffs out of all the major sports. I just love a good back and forth series. Today, we're going to basically predict every single series of the first round. We're going to go through every single series, and I'm going to give you guys my winners. Let's hop into it. Let's start with the Eastern Conference because we all know that's the weakest conference out of the two conferences. Let's start with the 8 versus the 1, the Cavs and the Heat. I actually think the Heat will give Cleveland a little bit of trouble here, and I got the Heat winning a couple games, but I think the Cavs win and probably win in 6 games. Even though the Heat did not have a good record and barely got into the playoffs, I think the Heat match up pretty well against the Cavs. The Heat have good size in their lineup. They have Bam Adebayo and Khalil Ware down low, so they have the bodies and answers for the Cavs' big lineup with Mobley and Allen. Both of these teams are top 10 in defensive rating. Both of them are top 12 in three-point percentage. The Cavs do have a huge edge in points per game, though. They are just a way more efficient offense. The Cleveland is number 1 in points per game, scoring over 121 points, while Miami ranks 24th, only scoring 110. So Miami does have their work cut out for them offensively. They are going to need Tyler Hero, Bam, and Wiggins to all be on to have a chance. I will say, though, the Heat's roster has way more playoff experience than the Cavs, which does make a difference. Miami has 5 players that have made an NBA Finals. Tyler Hero, Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, and Kevin Love have all made an NBA Finals. The only 2 players that Cleveland has is Max Strus, who actually used to be on the Heat, and Tristan Thompson. I'm picking the Cavs to win the series because I think their offensive attack will be too much for Miami. But like I said, the Heat are going to put up a fight and win a couple games. And if the Heat pull off the upset, I wouldn't be super shocked. It wouldn't be a super shocking thing just because the Heat are a veteran team, a good coach in Spoelstra that has experience. But I can't pick the Heat. Their offense is just not efficient enough, and the Cavs is. So I'm taking the Cavs in 6. Next, we got the 7 versus the 2, the Celtics versus the Magic. This is my only sweep I have out of everything. I have the Celtics sweeping the Magic. The Magic have a top 5 defense and actually rank higher than Boston in defensive rating, but Boston also has a top 5 defense. So Boston's defense is elite. The Magic have a little bit better of a defense. I got to give them credit there. So I can definitely see the Magic holding the Celtics to less points than the Celtics usually score, but they just won't have enough offense to keep up with the Celtics' offensive attack. They're just not going to have enough offense, man. Orlando's offense is way below average. They rank 28th in points per game, only scoring 105 points, while the Celtics rank 8th, scoring 116. The Magic also suck at shooting the 3 ball. They are bottom 10 in the league. The Celtics have a huge edge there. And Orlando's roster has absolutely no depth. Other than Paulo and Franz Wagner, not a single other player is even scoring 13 points per game for them. The Celtics have 5 players over 14 points per game. And the Celtics just have so much more playoff experience, man. So much more. It's crazy. I got the Celtics 4-0 and sweeping the Magic here. Next, we're going to go 3 versus the 6, the Knicks versus the Pistons. I think this is going to be the best series out of all the series in the Eastern Conference because both of these teams are pretty good. Both of these teams are very good and they match up very well against each other. But I still got the Knicks winning 4-2. Both teams are in the top half of the league when it comes to defensive rating, with the Pistons ranking a little bit higher than the Knicks, and both teams are top 12 in points per game. So stat-wise, these teams are very even, but where I give New York the edge is playoff experience. All 5 of the Knicks starters have had multiple deep playoff runs in their career, and they have had 2 guys who have made an NBA Finals in OG Anunoby and Miles Bridges. The Pistons do have a few guys with playoff experience, but all of them are older veteran players who aren't going to be game changers at this point in their career, and those players are Tobias Harris, Malik Beasley, and Dennis Schroeder. And the Pistons roster just isn't as good in my opinion. Even though the stats show similar production, I trust the Knicks roster way more. New York has 4 guys scoring 17 or more points per game. Detroit has Cade, obviously, who has over 25 points per game. And then they have Beasley with 16 and Tobias Harris with 14. It's just, there's levels to it, man. There's levels to it. And even though the stats show New York as a worse defensive team, I really do trust this New York team in the playoffs defensively because they have three great proven defenders in OG Anunoby, Miles Bridges, and Josh Hart. We've seen all of those guys play elite defense in the playoffs. I got the Knicks in 6, but I do think this series will be entertaining and every game will be close. I don't think the Pistons are bad. I just think they're not quite there yet. They're a little too inexperienced. And then the last one, this is the worst series in my opinion. The number 4 versus the number 4 versus the number 5. Pacers versus Bucks. I'm not a fan of either one of these teams. But this series all comes down to Damian Lillard, in my opinion. As of me recording this, there is optimistic reports of him returning at some point for this series. But if he doesn't come back or he isn't his full self, I got to give the edge to the Pacers. So knowing what I know right now, I'm going to pick the Pacers to win in 6 or 7 games. When it comes to stats, these teams are very close. Both of them are top 12 in points per game, and both of them are in the lower half of the top 15 in defensive rating. So neither one of them has like an amazing defense. But with no Dame, I trust the Pacers roster more. I'm not a big fan of the Bucks' depth at all. I like Kuzma, solid player. He was a solid pickup, but I don't think he's going to be a game-changing player who's going to go out and win a game for the Bucks. Bobby Portis, as a full-time player, is above average at best. And Lopez is still a solid player, even at his age, but he's old and also not a game-changing player. Giannis can go out and single-handedly win a game for the Bucks, but when it comes to playoff basketball, it can't just be one player for a whole series. The Pacers have 4 guys scoring over 15 points per game, and I gotta say, I like the Pacers bench way better than I like the Bucks. Obi Toppin, Nembhard, McConnell is a better unit and a more experienced group than Kevin Porter Jr., Taurean Prince, and Gary Trent for the Bucks. Even with no Dame, I still think this is a 6 or 7 game series because Giannis is still Giannis. He's still a game wrecker. And I don't count the Bucks out completely, even with no Dame, because the Pacers they're a good team. They're a playoff team, but they're not like undeniable. So the Pacers could lose here, but with no Dame, I got to pick the Pacers. All right, let's move on to the Western Conference. These are going to be the best series out of all the playoffs, man. These Western Conference series are going to be crazy. We'll start with the 1 versus the 8, Thunder versus the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are a way better team than a number 8 seed. At the All-Star break, they were the number 2 seed. And for the majority of the second half of the season, they were the number 4 seed. They just had a late season fall off, but this is still a legit playoff team. Memphis ranks 2nd in points per game, scoring over 121 points, which ranks higher than OKC, although not by much. The Thunder still score 120 points, but it just shows Memphis offense is efficient. Both teams are middle of the pack in 3-point percentage, and the Memphis Grizzlies have a top 12 defense. Their defense is not bad at all. It's just OKC has the number 1 defense. Like, their defense is insane. They're number 1 in almost every defensive stat there is. It's like there's levels to the defense, and OKC is just on another level. Both of these teams also have good size as well. OKC has Chet and Hardenstein, while the Grizzlies have Jaren Jackson and Zach Edey. So the Grizzlies match up pretty well against the Thunder. And I think the Grizzlies can win a game or 2, but I still got OKC winning in 5 games, 6 games at the most. There's just levels to it. Like I said, the OKC Thunder are just better at everything. They're just better at everything. But the Grizzlies are a legit playoff team. They're going to put up a fight, but I got to take OKC here. Next, we got the number 2 versus the number 7, Rockets versus Warriors. The Rockets have been a really, really good team this season. They have the 4th best record in the league, only behind the Thunder, Cavs, and Celtics. But I got the Warriors winning in 6, man. These teams are very similar when it comes to stats. Both of them are scoring around 114 points per game this season. Both of them are top 10 in defensive rating. But the Warriors do have an edge in shooting the 3 ball, which is huge in the playoffs. And another reason I'm not picking the Rockets, and this is the main reason why, it's just lack of experience. Van Vliet and Dillon Brooks have playoff experience, but the other 4 guys that play over 30 minutes for them have literally 0 playoff games under their belt. Jalen Green, Sengun, Jabari Smith, and Amen Thompson have never played a single playoff minute. And that is huge. That is huge. When you're talking about the Warriors with Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, these guys have played in NBA Finals and won NBA Finals. Another concern is Houston doesn't have like a guy. And what I mean by that is like they don't have a guy that can go out and close the game for them and go out and win a game for them. Jalen Green is so inconsistent, so he's not going to do it. Van Vliet is a good player. He's a solid player. But he's not like elite offensively. He can't just go out and get a bucket whenever he wants. And the other 3 guys, Dylan Brooks, Jabari Smith, and Thompson, are more known for their defense. Sengun is good, but it's the same thing. Like he's not a closer. He's not going to go out and hit a dagger. That's just not the type of player he is. The Warriors, on the other hand, have 3 elite and all-time playoff performers: Curry, Green, Jimmy Butler. Green isn't going to win a game offensively, but we've seen him change games defensively and with his IQ. Butler and Curry have had tons of clutch playoff performances in their career, and it's just crazy. There's just levels to it. I think the Warriors got really lucky that they get to play the Rockets. I think this is a perfect team for the Warriors to have in the first round. I got the Warriors winning in 6. Next, let's go the 3 versus the 6, Lakers versus the Timberwolves. I got the Lakers winning this in 5 to 6 games as well. But if you just look at the stats, Minnesota looks like a better team. Minnesota ranks 13th in points per game, while the Lakers only rank 19th. The Timberwolves are top 10 in three-point percentage. LA is only 14th. Minnesota also ranks better defensively. They rank 6th, while the Lakers only rank 17th defensively. Despite all those stats in Minnesota's favor, I don't trust them at all. Anthony Edwards is literally the only player on that team I trust. Julius Randle has always been an inconsistent player. He disappears some games in the playoffs, so I don't fully trust him. Naz Reid is a solid player. I like Naz Reid, but he's a very good role player. He's not a game-changing player. And you guys know, I'm a Rudy Gobert hater. He gets exposed defensively every single year in the playoffs. That dude sucks in the playoffs, so I definitely don't trust him. And the rest of their roster is full of role players. McDaniels, DiVincenzo, Alexander Walker, Mike Conley. None of those guys are moving the needle. The Lakers obviously have 2 elite and clutch players in Luka and LeBron. And I think those 2 can single-handedly win this series, honestly. I really think those 2 can just win the series by themselves. But also, Austin Reeves is a really good player. And in my opinion, other than Anthony Edwards, Austin Reeves is better than everybody else on that Timberwolves team. Timberwolves will win a few games. I can see them winning a game or 2 just because they have a good defense. And because Anthony Edwards is a dog, he might be able to shoot his way into winning a game or 2. But at the end of the day, I think Luka and LeBron will be way too much for this Timberwolves team. And I got the Lakers winning in 5 or 6 games. LeBron's not going out in the first round of the playoffs. Come on. It's not happening. And then we're ending off with probably my favorite series of the Western Conference. The number 4 versus the number 5. Nuggets versus the Clippers. I had the Clippers winning in 6 games, but Jokic is the best player in the world, so the Nuggets are going to put up a fight, and they are always live to win. Denver is a team that scores a lot of points, but also gives up a lot of points, while the Clippers don't score that great, but they have a great defense. So these teams are completely opposite in their play style. Denver ranks 3rd in points per game, while the Clippers only rank 20th in points per game. On the other side, the Nuggets only rank 21st in defensive rating. The Clippers rank 3rd in defensive rating. Like I said, complete opposite. I give the Clippers the advantage in this series because I think their roster is more complete and has more depth. Their core 4 of Harden, Powell, Kawhi, and Zubac are obviously very good and have tons of playoff experience, but their bench is also full of guys with experience as well. Derek Jones has finals experience. Batum has been in the league forever and has over 50 playoff games under his belt. They also have Ben Simmons and Patty Mills, who have played tons of playoff games as well. The Nuggets are very top-heavy, with Jokic being the best player in the series for sure. And Jamal Murray is clutch in the playoffs. I'll give him that. Last year, he had multiple buzzer beaters in the playoffs. Michael Porter Jr. is a volume scorer who can get hot, and he has playoff experience. Christian Braun has turned into a solid two-way player. Aaron Gordon fits perfectly on this team and is a very unselfish two-way player. and they have Westbrook off the bench, who brings a good veteran presence. It's not like the Nuggets roster is terrible. Like they have a good roster. It's going to be a good series. But other than those 6 guys, their bench is so bad and so inexperienced. Players like Schroeder, Watson, Pickett, they're bench players who get the most minutes. None of those guys have barely played any playoff minutes in their career. If you mix the Nuggets' lack of depth and inexperience with the Clippers' elite two-way lineup, I gotta go with the Clippers in the series. I just think the fact that they're good on both sides of the ball when the Denver Nuggets are not a good defensive team, I think that's going to be the difference. And think about this. We haven't seen a healthy Kawhi in years. Think about the last time we saw a healthy Kawhi. He's a game changer. He's an absolute game changer. I got the Clippers in 6. So those are all of my predictions for the first round of the NBA playoffs. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think I'm wrong, if you agree. I'm so hyped for this first round. I can't wait to start watching these games. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I love all of you.